Cheating wife is upset she lost me, kids, house due to her affair because I sent the video evidence of infidelity to her family and exposed her AP.
Hello everyone and welcome to Fresh Master Channel. Today we are going to have some story from Reddit. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel.
My wife and I have been married for over 11 years. I recently discovered that she has been cheating on me for months with an ex-colleague. She was laid off a few months ago due to COVID, but my freelance job is still on and I make enough. Yesterday, she went out in the afternoon, stating she just had to get out and see her girlfriends. I have been suspicious for a while now, so I go through her phone when she uses the bathroom. It was laid out in horrifying detail. Him telling her he reached the restaurant, her replying him to order appetizers, her even sending money to him to cover her part of the bill, etc. He left the restaurant to check in a nearby motel and messaged her when he had, and she followed a little later with a bottle of vodka and a six-pack. Later that night, she messaged him, "You are so naughty," and him replying, "So I guess you liked it better this time, huh?" I took pics of all these conversations. I did not disturb her the whole day. My stomach is in knots, though. I could not even think of her being this horrible person. We have had a good marriage, a few arguments here and there, but nothing significant. She has been a great wife otherwise, and an excellent mother to our twin boys, aged 8. It was amazing to watch her go through her nightly routine as if nothing happened. She came back with burgers for herself and the kids. I told her beforehand I would have a homemade salad. Tucked them in, came to the bedroom and applied her usual night cream, and lay down and asked me what I did since she was gone. I managed to mumble an answer, asked her about her friends. She told me a made-up story and turned to her phone. I guess that is when she sent him the naughty message. She is preparing breakfast now. We woke about an hour ago and she hugged me with a breezy morning and went to brush her teeth and wake the kids. I am so numb. I cannot believe she cheated so blatantly and now acts as if nothing has happened. I am off to meet a lawyer later today to begin the separation process. I just cannot get how shameless she can be. I will follow his advice as how to rip the Band-Aid off, but I want some insight into her thinking. How does one be so calm, so nonchalant, and act this happy? I am getting angrier by the minute. Edit. A few folks have mentioned if you are thinking of getting a divorce, I am. No two ways about it. She has repeatedly cheated on me and our children, so there will be no coming back from it. I will seek one-on-one therapy when all of this is done and dusted, and possibly for our kids, too. I know whatever evidence I have is sufficient, but I cannot help thinking that there are other men involved, and to make a watertight case, I will try to get more evidence. I am meeting the lawyer in a few hours, and will see about having a female lawyer from his firm represent me, but that is an afterthought, really. She has said that she might head out again tomorrow. I have a feeling her girlfriends are complicit somehow. Edit 2. A small work-related problem has popped up. I will not be able to meet the lawyers till Monday morning, but I will ensure that I meet as many as possible and will proceed with the rest of my plan after. I have been documenting everything, including money transfers from me to her since we were married, safeguarding documents, and making inquiries for a PI. Update. I wanted to do all this earlier, but work pressure and a health scare that involved my elderly aunt kept me busy. Just as well because they kept my mind occupied. Plus, there were meetings with the lawyer and the PI, too, that kept me on my toes. On Friday, I finally did it. I came up with a plan and executed it with my lawyer's approval. But here's what transpired till then. 1. Got an STI screen done as advised. Clean. 2. Got a paternity test done for both my kids. Results expected on Monday. 3. Hired a PI, an XPD. Expensive but so worth it. 4. Shopped around in 2 to 3 firms for a lawyer and found a real fire and brimstone type who was well referred, who hates cheaters. Again, expensive but worth every penny. 5. Have a buddy, let's call him Matt, from my school days who is my age and has chosen never to marry, lives alone, an absolute unit, ex-military, works in cybersecurity. confided in him fully, and held all my meetings at his place. 6. My sister and her family live on the other side of town. Told her last when everything was almost set into motion. She is my older sister and fiercely protective of me, and would have jumped in with both feet if I had told her sooner. I just needed her to keep an eye on my kids. I was going to send them to her place for a couple of days. VAR installed in her car, tucked an older iPhone in the seat pocket for good measure. Location taken care of. About 2 days after I first posted here, she met him again. Same pattern, same restaurant, same seedy motel room. This time had one of her single girlfriends, let's call her Beth, accompany her for lunch. The PI was ready, got me pics and vids, them having lunch. Beth was flirty with the AP and even proceeded to touch him a few times. They saw her off and headed to the motel together. There is just one motel close to the restaurant, and the PI did his homework. After being given the room the motel receptionist was asked to give them, they got busy. PI got a few shots of them and sounds too. Music to my ears. She came home calm and collected, proceeded with her night as though nothing had happened. Had a chat, talked about Beth was going through a crisis, blah, blah. I empathized and told her about work and my aunt, wherein she said she might visit her. Next day, met the PI on the pretext of meeting a client. Got a download. Hit the booze hard that night. Checked my guns. That always calms me down. The next day was spent with meeting with the lawyer, a client, this time for real. Checked on my aunt again. Came home. Nothing out of the ordinary. The very next day, she met him again, which was rare. She would meet him once a week, and that was it. PI listened to the combo and was able to discern that he was expected to travel for a week later that week, which was the very day that I had planned to serve her. All this time I did not touch her besides morning hugs and goodnight kisses. This revolted me to no end, but I had to play the part. I must say this. I served her on Friday and could not sleep a wink on Thursday night. I would look over and over at her sleeping form next to me and wonder if I screwed up somehow. Was I to blame? I knew I wasn't, but she would make me the culprit somehow. I ran every situation in my head 1,000 times. Woke up at my usual time and had 2 espressos instead of my usual 1 and popped a Madonafil. This is when she dropped a surprise. She was going out that day. That's the 3rd time this week. Does Beth really need you that much? No, Beth's fine. It's my mother. She has to see a doctor for her joint pains, and I said I would take her. Yay. When are you planning to take her? In the evening. I will leave earlier, though. I might have lunch there. I said that's a good idea. And it was normal, as since she was fired, she would have at least 1 meal a week at her parents'. But a quick call to my lawyer from the safety of my den confirmed the best time to serve her. When she was with her parents at their place. Her brother and his family were visiting too. Even better. I got back to work. Called the PI home for one last download. He made copies of all evidence by then. I kept one in my safe. Sent the twins to my sister's place across town. Packed all her stuff in giant trash bags I bought the day before. The server confirmed via text at about 3 p.m. that she had been served. I calmly waited by the phone. The call arrived at about 3:20 p.m. Blah, 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 what the hell? Sounds of mother-in-law crying in the background, father-in-law yelling something, not clear. Me in as calm a voice as possible. I need you to read everything that was sent carefully and come over, alone, now. I disconnected the phone and switched it off. Unhooked the landline, too. She arrived, along with Beth. I asked Beth to leave. Soon-to-be ex-wife said she needed her to stay. I calmly repeated that she had to leave and that she was never welcome in this house ever again. A dictaphone was recording everything, so I wanted to be quiet yet firm. Beth said, I'll stay in the car, and left. Beth was the instigator of my wife's infidelity, so I wanted that bit out. Besides, she had no place in our family home anyway. I sat soon-to-be ex-wife down, gave her the PI's file, told her I knew everything. She went through the file. She looked pale, as if she saw a ghost. Said he was just helping her get a job, which is why she met him. All right, how about this? Played the sounds of passionate lovemaking. Her jaw dropped to the floor. Showed her printouts of her texts with her AP. Showed them pics of them kissing in his car, walking around hand in hand in the mall. You went through my phone? I think you have bigger problems than that now. I smiled. I proceeded to ask if there was anyone else, not that it mattered. She said no, there wasn't. Proceeded to show her raunchy texts with another guy and a woman. Looks like my beloved was sampling the other side of the buffet as well. She sobbed, bawled, curled into a ball, Offered an explanation about being lonely, but I cut her off. I just wanted her to get the hell out. I need you to leave. Your stuff is in the trash bags in our bedroom. Take them and go. This is my home, too. It ceased to be your home when you cheated on me and our sons. I lost it for a second here. Gathered myself, told her again that she was never welcome here and should go now. Gave her the file, told her again to leave, get legal representation. She nodded quietly. At this point, I did not need anything. No explanation, no closure, just needed her out. She said again it was her home and she was not going anywhere. Then I said if you stay for another minute, I call and tell the twins on video call and tell them precisely what you did, and my sister will fill in the gaps as and when needed. She said, you cannot turn my kids against me. I said I will if you do not leave this minute. Luckily, she did not call my bluff and stumbled out of the door, file in hand. She mumbled that she will be back for her stuff later. I called her parents and asked them to look at the file. Go through all the sound tapes, too, in the pen drive for good measure. That woman Beth was still waiting. They left. Drove to the AP's place with a copy and met his wife. She is 5 months pregnant and had absolutely no idea. Showed her the file, played the sound tapes. I must say, it was satisfying watching her face crumble. She is a sweet girl, but I just had to let her know. When she began hyperventilating, I calmed her down, got her a glass of water, and asked her to call if she needed anything, and left a file with the contact details of my lawyer's firm. AP is returning today. She is undecided as to future course of action, but said she will talk to her family and decide. Got home, spoke to the HR at AP's company, my soon-to-be ex-wife's ex-employer, took her email ID and told him she would receive a copy as well. She was empathetic enough. That is when it hit me. When packing soon-to-be ex-wife stuff, I chanced upon a bunch of photo albums that had everything, her and I dating, a wedding album, a scrapbook she made when we had our twins, trips and picnics, etc. I tossed them on the bed. Now I went through them and cried my lungs out. Spoke to Matt and my sister, went on a drinking spree. He came by to check in sometime later, and I just hugged him and cried. Sobered up, had a healthy number of missed calls. Spoke to father-in-law, told him what my terms were. There would be a divorce, no trying to get back together, no couples counseling. His loving princess had ducked up, and that was it. I would keep the house and pay her off. As for the kids, if she decided to be too demanding regarding custody, I would fight to the end. Asked him to advise her against an adversarial divorce, else she and the family would be outed in every way possible. He mumbled an apology and hung up. Her brother dropped in with a pickup truck the next day to take the trash out, said she will live with them for a while. He could barely make eye contact while talking. And yes, made yet another copy of everything. My lawyer's firm has it, and they will hand it over to my sons when they turn older, along with a handwritten note from me, just a precaution in case something happens to me. I wouldn't want them to miss out on Mommy Dearest shenanigans now, would I? That's it then. Almost underwhelming in the end, but worth it. Heard rumblings that AP is already in trouble and expect to hear more soon. I will update whenever something substantial comes up. I have taken a week's break from work, so just chilling in an empty house with the bar fully stocked and playing my favorite records. This took a while to type, and just thinking about it again is massively overwhelming. Thank you again, everyone.